have to do to write a good profile, right? They have to ask good questions, listen, take notes. They have to have the courage to go out and talk to somebody in their community they may not know very well, right? And make those kind of connections. They need to research. They have to fact check. They have to know how to take dynamic photos that bring a person kind of to life. And of course, they have to figure out how to kind of package it all together for a real audience. So on a skills level alone, we hope it's compelling to you guys. But we have two other reasons that really kind of grow out of the last 20 nightmare months we've all been living through. We keep hearing from teachers that the isolation that kids have been under all this time, if we could have anything that's kind of a gentle push to them to leave their comfort zone, to go back out into the world, to maybe talk to somebody they don't know or don't know well, that teachers would appreciate it. Another reason, too, that we're making it a community focus is that we want kids to think about what's great in their communities right under their own nose already. So that's our second reason. And then I would say our third reason is something we get asked for and try to do daily. And that is, of course, for a generation that's grown up in a time of mis and disinformation, we're never not trying to teach news literacy, right? But we know that we can put up all the lesson plans in the world that say, read this article and answer these comprehension questions. And that's great, but it's not until, we're all former teachers on this site, right? So we've all been there. We know it's not until you turn around and have kids try to do something themselves that they're like, oh. And so we're hoping that this sort of journalism light situation we're inviting them to shows them how something they take for granted in the newspaper, the steps that have to go into it to make it fact-based, reliable. How does journalism get made? So those were our three reasons, and I hope no matter what you teach, I saw at least one bio teacher in that chat. I hope you'll see that you can do it for your curricular needs.
Why don't we start with that idea, Corey? How do you find interesting local people to profile?
And the way I've found these people a lot of different ways. First of all, just directly, when I was out on the street, when I was out in the world, in my life, I always kept my eyes open. If I saw something that could be interesting, I'd always approach the person. I have a business card. I introduce myself. At the time, I had this column, and I would say, I have a Sunday column in the New York Times, and they can click on a link and go see what it's like. And I would literally just go up to people and ask them. But that wasn't the only way I would meet people. I would also, of course, see people online, in articles, in blogs, that type of stuff. And I'd always keep my eye open that way.
All right. So, Todd, I can wrap my head around the work that Corey does. Asking people questions, recording it, finding kind of a story there. I was a history major, history teacher. I get that part. Photography, very, very different. Anytime I take a picture of somebody, they look awful. And anytime somebody takes a picture of me, I look awful. So there's some sort of magic that really good photographers like you must do. And I'm sure a lot of it has to do with kind of establishing that rapport and making people comfortable. So talk to us about what happens in a photo session.
Yeah, and I should say too, I work a lot the way Corey does. It's just we use different media. I use a camera, he uses a pen or computer, words. But our approach to people, I think, is very similar. And I always look at, I want to know a little bit what I'm getting into. Okay, how much time do I have? I can look for the light. I feel like the light, without light, there is no photography. Where are they comfortable? And they might have a conversation about that. What place are you most comfortable? What's meaningful to you? Depending on the story.
Now we're going to go over a spin, aka an angle. I was talking about an angle earlier. So a spin is a particular angle that a journalistic subject is written about. So while many articles are factual, a spin gives the article a specific point of view, often incorporating an opinion in a seemingly objective way, right?